You ready this time, Steven?
Ready.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna move this thing. I'm moving this. How's that?
It looks weird.
That's all right.
They probably can't see it.
How's that look? Well, if they're watching at home, they can't see it. Sorry, if they're listening at home.
Looks like you have a big mole on the top of your head.
Sorry, my nickname in school was Molin because of this thing over here that you never get to see because of my beard.
Is that why you have a beard?
No. But as a kid, it was always like Jared Molin. Well, because my name was Polin, and it's just like, you know, you get those kids that want to bust your balls, and they're like, hey, it's Molin. It rhymes because you get that mole on your face, and it's like, you know, I was
like clever.
Today they'd call that bullying. Back in the day, we called it bullying, but it wasn't for some reason as bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I stood up for myself, or just was like, awesome, you know?
Didn't care.
Like whatever, yeah, whatever. All right, anyway, Jared Polin, FroKnows, and I just did it again. I noticed this watching video back.
What do you do?
When I'm looking at this camera over here, you'll watch my eye, and I'll start to look over at the GoPro because I watch to make sure it's blinking. So all in the because we want to make sure it records.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here, I'm like, Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome to RAWtalk episode number 57, take 2.
Take 2.
It is take 2, Steven. I'm going to be honest with everybody. We recorded a RAWtalk on Tuesday. We did this one. This is now Thursday.
2 days prior, yeah.
Well, yeah, 2 days prior to this. And we were ready. We did our normal thing, but it was bad.
It was terrible.
Like, I was horrible. I just was in a bad mood. And this Rode thing is, I got to figure, how's that?
It looks worse now.
It looks worse
it's
now?
It's like on your eye.
Yeah, but that's because it's touching my forehead, and it feels like I got a brain. Anyway, I'm wearing this Rode HS1 because we're going to talk about it later on. We're actually going to use it. But we did the episode. I was horrible. Steven...
I was pretty horrible too.
And it wasn't all our fault. It's just that
we were just not in the mood.
It happens. There. I just moved the thing out of my place.
Now it's covered. Now it's hidden.
You know, I don't care about it being hidden. It's just in my way.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like bothering me. I could just... You know what, Steven?
You're going to take it off? It takes so long to put it on.
No. I'm taking it off. Everybody at home, not my shirt, this HS1, because it's bothering my ear.
It's a headset microphone for those wondering.
From Rode that we're gonna end up using.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did the episode, and a lot of things that we were talking about were kind of the rumor mill, or they were coming out like that night, and we didn't have our facts right, and I got some facts wrong. But anyway, the moral of the story is that if you are not happy with something, and this plays in anything with your photography or whatnot. If you're not happy with a shoot or you're not happy with your photos, you are not forced to put it out into the world. If you have the ability to redo it, then go ahead and redo it. And that's why we're sitting here again, because we are more prepared. It's a good kick in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, it's a kick in the ass to say, be more prepared, make sure you do it better. And that's what you need. And that happens every couple months. You just... I was in a bad...
It's almost like we need one of these every couple months just to kind of reiterate, like, we need to be prepared.
Well, I think what happened is the flash guide came out. So that came out on Saturday. I did a RAWtalk. I did a Spreecast at noon and at midnight on that Saturday. I spent all day Sunday working with the flash guide and making sure everything's fine. Monday rolled around. I'm still working. But I've been leading up to this whole flash guide thing for months. We started shooting in January. The editing took a little longer, as my editor Todd Wolf says. It's like editing Lord of the freaking Rings because it's a 3-hour video.
Yeah,
that's Lord of the Rings long.
Yep.
But it's quality. So anyway, the flash guide is out for anybody out there. FroKnowsPhoto.com/flash guide. You can get flash guide. You can get a preview, an 8-minute preview of what's inside. More like a 5 or 6 minute preview if you cut out my talking. But actually, it's all good. I love the thing. I think there's been great feedback, and people are digging it.
It looks good, yeah.
Thanks, Steven. I know I didn't leave you.
You're like waiting for me.
I
to
didn't
say
leave
something.
you with a segue to go into, so that's my fault. But it's out and it's going up. It's there. It's in the Fro store. I want to do a giveaway for you subscribers at home. So pay attention later. Oh, that's what I highlighted in here. I wanted to do a giveaway. So how can I do a giveaway? Why don't you? And it's only going to be good for Monday.
This is for the flash guide?
Well, yeah, I'm going to give away a flash guide, but it's only for the people that download the podcast before we even post it on the website. So it's all for subscribers. So what you have to do is, why don't we just make you go to Twitter? We'll do the Twitter thing and hashtag, let's see, hashtag, you gotta at FroKnowsPhoto, so I see it, and then hashtag flash guide. I'm terrible. I should have come up with something beforehand.
Flash guide like 2013.
No, this is one thing I didn't prepare. But call it, just say
RAWtalk flash guide or something.
Just say funky butt loving. No, don't say funky butt loving. Do you know what funky butt loving's from?
No.
You're too young for that again. I'm not. Steven gets angry when I put him on the spot. Funky butt loving came from a movie called Rookie of the Year.
Oh, I know Rookie of the Year. That was the little kid with the arm, the crazy arm. Yeah.
All right.
I know that one.
I was 13 when that came out.
I just don't remember that saying in the actual.
Funky
I'm really bad
butt
with the details.
loving. I think it was that movie. But anyway, you know what? Hashtag funky butt loving at FroKnowsPhoto. Funky butt loving. All one word, and I will pick somebody on Monday that does that to win the flash guide at random, but on Twitter. It's going to be over by the time I post
the video
on to YouTube. So that's for you guys for listening. So rundown, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a ton of news. The Black Rapid strap is back in stock for anybody that wants that. That's in the store.
Nice.
The red strap, it's going to be back. Yeah, it's in stock, and we'll start shipping them. Limited quantities came in again. So anybody that was waiting for it, you can get it. We're not going to plug anything other than that for now. Let's get you going with the long and winding news.
A lot of cameras out this week.
And then we'll do flying solo. Did you work on your music yet?
I looked at it last night, and dude, there's so many entries. I got about halfway through, and then it was about 1 a.m. at that point, and I was like, I got to get to bed. So I went to bed, and yeah, they're almost went through all the way.
Let me we've got this light thing coming in from outside. If anybody's watching on YouTube, the time of year is changing because winter is coming. So the sun is hitting our podcast table different than it was a week ago.
Yeah.
Everything's changed. So around noon when we do the recordings a lot, 11 to 12 or so, this light has come in. Now, it's not as bad today because it's a little overcast, but I may get some Scrimmy McScrimmersons to put in the window area in the future. So that's for anybody. Just know that if it's bad, it's bad. Don't be a dick and say something like, your video sucks.
Because basically, you can't see it on the actual video, but to the right of Jared...
you can't see it on the podcast either because it's audio.
Yeah, but I'm saying on the video, you can't see it. To the right of Jared, there's a giant window, and that's coming directly pretty much at me. So.
How many giant windows do I have in here?
You have...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10
giant windows.
Almost floor-to-ceiling windows.
They're huge. What are they, like 4 by 12?
I think they're about 12-foot windows.
Yeah, they're huge.
No, maybe they're 10-foot, like a basket. Okay.
I don't know.
News.
First up, we have Sony. They announced the full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. They have two of them.
What did they call it?
The world's first full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. At least that's what they're saying. We have the one called the A7, and then we have the flagship. It's called the A7R. So the A7R, it has a 36-megapixel sensor with no AA filter for maximum sharpness.
No OLPF.
Yes.
No, so it's not AA. I don't think it's the AA.
Well, it has no AA filter either.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And the A7, on the other hand, has a 24-megapixel sensor with an AA filter. 25 autofocus points they both have. From here on, the specs are pretty much similar.
They have different... Do you talk about how the focusing is different from one to the other? Because they have one is phase detect only, and then the... Go ahead.
I don't exactly have that in here, but you can talk about it.
Well, yeah, I'll say it because I read
don't want to get too detailed into it.
All right, well, I went to DP Review, the site that everybody goes to for real, like, full-on tech specs, and they talked about phase detect. I'm not sure which is what, but there's two different types of focusing systems. I think that the A7, is it A7?
The A7 is the lower-end model.
The 24-megapixel one that has a better focusing system because it has multiple ways of doing it, but the A7R... only has, I believe, phase detect, so it may not be as good at autofocus, but people are thinking maybe that 36-megapixel sensor is the same as the D800.
Yeah.
So,
which is pretty nice. I mean, hopefully the resolution will be very crisp.
Somebody asked me, they go, being that it may have the same sensor as the D800, are you still going to hate it because you hate the D800? The sensor has almost nothing to do with why I dislike the D800.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's a good camera. I mean, I haven't really used it for stills, but
there's focusing issues.
There's for our angle.
There's continuing focusing issues that Nikon has got to be aware of at this point with multiple cameras. From the D7000 back focusing issues that I had, the D4 issues that I had, this D800 issues that other people have had, and the D600 issues with the oil spots. Crap. Go. Sorry.
25 autofocus points again, and the autofocus speed is apparently faster than the RX series. The A7 shoots at 5 frames per second, where the A7R shoots at only 4 frames per second, which is, it should kind of be flip-flopped. I'm not sure why they did it that way. The ISO range for both cameras, 100 to 25,600, pretty much the standard. They both take SD cards. Both bodies are weather sealed as well, which is nice. Full 1080p video at 60 frames per second, which is a plus. Seems to be like that's also the standard these days with 1080p. They're finally getting into the 60 frames per second rate. And up to 1/8000th of a second shutter speed, a tiltable LCD screen, focus peaking, which is very nice, and built-in Wi-Fi, and they're both going to be available in December. The A7 will cost you about $1,700 for the body and $2,000 with the kit lens, and the A7R will run about $2,300 for the body, which is a lot.
It's a lot when you look into the system range. Like, it is small, and it brings up the point that I talk about here. Is this the death of the Micro Four Thirds system? Is it? Does this mean that Micro Four Thirds is dead? And I know there's people out there that go, well, Micro Four Thirds has a lot of lenses. It's smaller. It's not just about the size of the body. Sure, that's true. You still have to carry around extra lenses with both of them. And with that said, the Sony has 5 new lenses coming out just for that, the E mount. There's also lenses for the A mount. You'll have to get a special adapter from Sony for $200 to mount your A-mount Sony lenses or old Minolta ones to this camera, which is fine. It's an interesting option. I was also reading that there's other possibilities that you can connect a Nikon. You can get an adapter for the Nikon and Canon. Whether it keeps autofocus capabilities, I don't know. But this is the first micro. This is the first mirrorless camera that has really piqued my interest.
Full frame, that's why.
Because it's full frame. It's in a small body, yet there's tons of controls. It has the electronic viewfinder, which I'm sure is pretty good for shooting. Sony's done a great job with that stuff. Their glass is a lot more expensive. Their new 70 to 200 2.8 is going to be $3,000.
That's insane.
I'm sure it's a great lens. $3,000. By the way,
isn't it Zeiss glass or something like that?
Yeah, but again, there's Zeiss glass in phones too.
That's true.
Don't forget that it's just becomes
about the name.
A brand and a marketing thing after a while. But yeah, it's good on the top end. Wow, the light really changed, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. A lot.
I wonder if your angle got darker because I opened it up. I closed it down. Yeah, I actually did close it down. So Sony America retweeted my video yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I tweeted them back. I'm like, how about you send me something to play with so I can actually review it?
Please say anything?
Well, we'll be at Photo Plus.
You?
No, I don't think they responded back, but at Photo Plus, we'll go to their booth.
Cool.
And I will try to talk to somebody that knows me, hopefully, and they give me the time of day.
And besides the converters too, for those that want a bigger body, like I know some people prefer a bigger body because they have, say, big hands or something. They also have a battery grip that they're putting out for it too.
So it's a full frame option.
Yeah.
It has the same sensors that are in the Nikons and the Canons. Well, not the same as a Canon, but a 24 megapixel full frame is. That's what the D600 has.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same sensor as that.
Because they make the sensors for Nikon, right?
The question is, though, because it's mirrorless, yeah, they do make a lot of the sensors for them. It's mirrorless, but what about dust, you know?
That's true.
It's like the mirror, the sensor is always exposed. But back to is this the death of the... Go ahead.
It should still have the flap, though, in front of it, right? Because that has nothing
shutter?
to... Yeah.
No, there's no shutter. No, it's just wide open.
You're right.
It's mirrorless, unless the pictures that they show of just the back of it.
I thought it still had an actual shutter.
You think it still has a shutter? It's not just electronic?
Didn't flip up with the mirror.
Well, there is no mirror.
That's what I'm saying.
But how could... No, there can't be a shutter.
I don't know
why there can't be a shutter?
Why?
Because how are you going to preview the image?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't preview the image because the image sensor has to be on. Meaning, like...
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but just... For anybody, like, we're just talking this through because that's what we do. The sensor has to be exposed to the images coming in, because then there would be no other way for it to go into the electronic viewfinder to see what you're doing. So
yeah,
I think that's it.
That's true.
So let me get back to the death. I'm pretty sure we're good on that. I don't think we're wrong, but I'm sure somebody would let us know. Is this the death of the Micro Four Thirds? I like to think so. I mean, everybody was huge on these Olympus cameras, which I hear are good.
Mm-hmm.
The Panasonic cameras, which I guess are fine. Samsung. There's so many different options and models out there in the Micro Four Thirds range. I get why people want to have a smaller camera. Give me a freaking a bigger sensor than anything else. They put it into a body that's almost the same size as the Nex 7, right?
Yeah.
And now it's full frame. You can use the crop sensor lenses if you want. I wouldn't do something like that. But again, a small body, the lenses, fine, they'll be big. I don't care. If this is on par with a DSLR, and it works for you for a professional shoot, then there's not, or any shoot, then there's nothing wrong with it. This is, like I said, the first one to pique my interest, but there's a lot of people, you read Trey Ratcliffe, he's the guy stuck in customs.com.
HDR guy.
Yeah, he does a huge amount of HDR, became world famous for this stuff, teaches it all over the world, and just creates a lot of images. He basically said he'll never own a DSLR again. He was big into the Nex 7, and now he's going to be big into this system. But full-frame sensor piques my interest, especially with the options that the camera gives you.
I was telling you earlier, it makes more sense for Trey Ratcliffe to really pick this up because of the mirrorless option. Because when you're in an HDR, you most likely have the mirror flipped up at all times. And for him, it's going to be really nice for less shake and all that stuff for layering photographs in the end. So maybe that's why he went this route.
Moving on.
I'm going to go through one more and then reset the camera. We have the Sigma 24-105. They released that lens. They announced it, the F4. It has OS.
Do you just want me to reset yours so
sure,
you don't have to walk all the way around?
Yeah. It has OS.
Reset your... So, also, another reason we were terrible on Tuesday, it happens, the clock didn't reset at the right time, so that my angle ended up dying. Actually, they both ended up dying because we went over. Yep. But, hey, it happens. It's a learning thing. We're not going to screw it up again.
Yep. So the Sigma 24-105 f4 lens has been announced. It has OS optical stabilizer, super quiet. It has the HSM, the hypersonic motor, similar to like the USM.
Hypersonic motor, yeah!
They initially leaked it themselves before the announcement, posting it on the website early, which is pretty rare. I'm not sure if that was an accident or what, but they say it's going to be available by November. No price listed just yet. I don't know what it's going to be.
Well, let's talk about that. Hit that reset button.
Gotcha. That's what we forgot to do last time.
I didn't forget it.
Okay, I did.
You just told me to stop looking at the camera. You did. You said stop looking at the clock numerous times. I was like, but I can't see it. And I knew there was something going on.
Yep.
But anyway, price-wise. So, well, first off, we'll look at the lens. 24-105 f4 OS.
Yep.
Sigma has done a fantastic job with putting out much better quality lenses. They're built better, they feel better, and optically, I guess they create better images. I still don't own one myself, and I don't plan on owning one myself. I don't. It's just, I don't. That's not what I want to use.
Yeah, I have one. I have a fisheye Sigma, but that's because
it's a fisheye.
It's a fisheye, yeah.
And that's a little different, because I got to tell you, the Nikon 16 fisheye sucks.
I think all fisheyes suck,
well,
personally.
Yeah. But, so, excuse me, my apple juice. This is apple juice, by the way.
Beer, you're lying.
Yeah, it's beer. I hate beer. You know how many times you've been to the bar with me?
Yeah, and you don't.
How many times have I drank beer?
Yeah, it's rare.
No, it's never.
Me, on the other hand,
it's not rare. It's never.
That's true.
So this is a range that Nikon doesn't have. Canon has a 24-105 IS f4, which sells for, I believe, $1149.99.
Yep.
Nikon offers a 24-120 f4 VR for $1249 or $1,300.
Which is a really nice range.
Well, it's a great range if you're shooting weddings. I talked to...
it's like your all-around, walk-around camera.
You could use it during the party, because if you're using a flash, the 2.8 doesn't matter so much.
Mm-hmm.
So you're popping off the flash. You have 24 for the wide shots, and you've got 120 to zoom in. So this 105, if Canon is selling theirs for $1149...
This will probably be like
$899.
Yeah.
It gotta be $899.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, it's like I'll just buy the Canon variety, or I'll spend $200 more and get the Nikon.
Exactly.
So it leaves me like, Adam made the switch to Canon.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Lerner, for anybody out there, he sold his D3S and picked up a 5D Mark III because of the jobs that he's shooting. Clients want that. They specifically ask for those files.
Really?
They may not know what they're talking about. They may not know the reason why, but they like the megapixels, the 24, or I believe it's 24.
22, I thought.
Is it? But they like the files that are coming out of it, and there's a lot more accessories that he can get when he's renting. It's just easier to get than for the Nikon, and he's really happy with it. But they sent him he bought a 31.4 and is sending it back, and he just talked that it didn't feel
35.14.
30.14. Or I don't think he bought the 35. Maybe it was the 35.14. I don't know. It was either the 30 or the 35.
I didn't know they had a 30.
They have both.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't remember
the
which
35 is the L lens, and I know he was specifically saying the other day
Sigma.
that
He bought the Sigma version.
Sigma. Oh,
so
I thought you were
he's not
saying
happy.
Canon.
He's getting it. He's sending it back.
I thought we told him to get only Canon stuff.
Oh, I did, but
Yeah.
he didn't listen to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Adam, can you check to make sure I did hit the buttons?
All right.
And I'm going to check this one too. So I'm walking away from the table. You're good. All right, good. I get hyper paranoid.
You're always double checking, and it's always fine.
I know, but isn't it better to be safe than sorry?
Well, yeah, but I specifically wait there for a second when I hit the record button.
But I forgot. Like, I don't remember these things, that they're Blinky McBlinkersing things. So this lens is interesting. We'll have to see what it does. What do you guys think it's going to cost if they haven't announced it by the time that this comes out for RAWtalk? We'll see. Let's move on to the next news.
Nikon, they haven't officially announced the D5300. The 24 megapixel DX sensor, same as the D7100. It has no optical low-pass filter.
Hold on. We cannot confirm that it's the same as the D7100.
Well, that's what pretty much every website was saying.
That's what they're saying, but I can tell you from talking to Nikon that the first question I asked after they said 24.2 megapixel new sensor, I said, is that the same as the D7100? And they could not verify that for me.
Okay. So
is it the same sensor? Probably.
Okay. So it might be the same sensor as the D7100.
It should be. It probably is. But I asked them specifically.
Well, it's similar to D610. It's like, they
that's the same
put it out
sensor
to fix the oil spot, yet they're saying they can't really say that.
Yeah. All right, we'll not get into that now.
39 autofocus points, 9 cross points, X-Speed 4 processor. I think this is the first
camera to do that.
Which is pretty surprising. Expandable ISO sensitivity up to 25,600 again. Built-in Wi-Fi, built-in GPS.
It's the first one Nikon offers with built-in Wi-Fi, and now with the built-in GPS, they put out a new battery.
Nice.
To help.
Seems like this is kind of like similar to like the 70D for Canon side, as far as built-in Wi-Fi and all that.
Sure.
5 frames per second, which is the same as the D5200. Not much of an upgrade. No upgrade, actually. Full HD video. Now, again, similar to the A7 and A7R, this is recording 1080p at 60 frames per second. So that's really cool. 3.2-inch vari-angle LCD monitor.
Non-touchscreen.
Non-touchscreen, which does Nikon have
Nikon does not have a SLR that does it. They have point and shoots. It's kind of
I wonder why they haven't switched it over.
They talk about that they break easier, but I love the Canon touchscreen on the 70D.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's just you touch things. I love touching things. Whether it's a camera or other things, I touch them.
The kit with the 18 to 140 millimeter f3.5 to 5.6 lens will be $1,400, while the body alone is going to be about $800, I believe.
Which is a good, like somebody the other day said, should I get the D3200? This was in an email.
Or should I cheap for the body?
Well, should I stretch to get a D7000? I'm like, if you could, and they said their budget was like $1,100. I'm like, if you could stretch and get a 7100, that would be good. Or this 5300, it's basically the same sensor, and it's $799.
Yeah.
Spend the other $400 on, or $300, depending on how much, on the glass, and you'll be happy. Like, would I ever buy this camera? No. But it is a good starting point. It's not the D3200. It has a better sensor than what the D3200 would have, and it's not quite a D7100, but if you don't have an extra $400 to spend and you want to get glass, you'll be a hell of a lot happier picking up a 5300 right off the bat. And it comes in gray, black, and red.
Ooh, red.
Ruby.
You can go nice with the Fro strap.
Fro strap. Oh, yeah.
In addition to the D5300, Nikon also announced a new fast prime lens, an AFS Nikkor 58mm f1.4G lens, which has the nano coating, and it'll be about $1,700 in the U.S. price-wise.
So
which is pretty expensive.
When I was on the phone with them, and they said, "And you will think you'll like this new lens." So they're like, "It's a 58mm 1.4." I'm like, all right, why? And they're like, well, it's like a throwback to the Nock Deluxe or whatever. There's an old 58 1.2 that Nikon made. So they're like, it's a throwback to that. I'm like, how much? They said $1699.95, and I went, you were here that day.
Oh yeah.
I just let out an audible laugh. I laughed at them. I'm like, who are you kidding? This is a $1,700 58 1.4. Like, why? And I know people probably will love this. And then some people have been commenting, well, it's an 85mm on a DX camera. Who in their right freaking mind is going to buy a $1,700 lens for a DX camera? Yeah. Seriously, people.
You never know.
I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure it's awesome. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to sniff it. I'm going to unbox it. I'll put it on my camera, but I'm not a prime guy, personally. I like my zooms for my versatility.
I do like primes, depending on what I'm shooting.
Over there?
What thing recording?
The H6?
Yes, it's recording.
God, I hope so.
But yeah, I like primes. I mean, I know Adam, he specifically only uses primes now.
He likes primes.
Yeah, they're so much sharper.
They are so much sharper, but they also may affect depending on what you're shooting, the ability to get the shot. If we were shooting concerts with primes,
I wouldn't shoot a concert with a prime.
I've tried it.
I've tried it too with
and
a
it's
51.4.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous when you have time. Like when I was touring with Perry Farrell, I would go to the 85 1.4, then I'd go to a 50, and I'd do different things at different shows to just try to get different
static,
shots.
Whoever you're shooting, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But let's see. Next up, we have. This is really neat.
Well, hold on.
You want to stay with this real quick?
Well, no. What I wanted to say is that this is. I'm interrupting you.
I figured.
I don't say things like not to interrupt. I've said this before.
I know.
Because I hate when people say that.
You say not to interrupt,
not
but
to
I'm
interrupt
interrupting
you and then continue to talk. Well, you just interrupted me. Just say to interrupt you. That's the end of most of the releases, right? That's all the new stuff?
Yes, that's all the new stuff, yeah.
All right.
A lot of stuff.
That's all. That is a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. And
can I plug something, I guess?
Sure, why not?
We'll take this opportunity to thank allenscamera.com. Go to Allen's Camera for anything Nikon related. You want to pick up a D5300, you want to pick up a D610, possibly a D600 at a discount. I don't know if they offer a discount yet. Give them a call, 215-547-2841. Ask them for the Fro price, even if you send them an email for Nikon gear. They have new, they have used. They support me since day one, and I continue to support them as we go forward because it's a mom-and-pop store that's been in business for over 40 years? No, it can't be 40 years. It is 40 years. It has to be because
really?
Alan just turned 60. Just
turned
60. He started when he was about 18.
A whole store?
Yeah. He opened a store. His brother has a store down the street for electronics. Totally different.
Wow.
Yeah, they started early. They just really went, and he's put in hours. You want to talk about work ethic.
Oh, yeah,
Alan
for sure.
is a nonstop worker. That's good and bad for people.
Well,
but,
you need to be, especially these days.
Yeah, and so, yeah, he built that business from the ground up. He just built it on service and quality pricing and doing a good job.
Cool.
There was like an eyelash on my microphone that was
probably your
hitting
hair.
my eye. Anyway, allenscamera.com for anything you need Nikon, new, used, old, new, used, old. Allenscamera.com. Check him out.
So this is really neat. Photographer Alexander Kravtsov. He made a time-lapse video.
Kravtsov.
Yeah, it's Kravtsov.
Slovakia?
I don't know.
Is he a Slovak?
I have no idea. It didn't say, but I'm assuming somewhere around there. He made a time-lapse video, though, of Barcelona. It's really breathtaking. It basically was made from over 480 gigabytes of photos, which is crazy. It's made up of 24,000 pictures, and he used the Canon 70, which apparently broke along the way, a Tokina fisheye 11 to 16 millimeter, a Canon 24-105 f4L, speaking of 24-105s, and a Canon 70-200 f2.8L lens to make this all happen. And each of the motion shots were done entirely by hand with a stabilized tripod and ball head, which is pretty remarkable. I mean, for these things, you really can't do it handheld. But yeah, the Barcelona video is really cool, so it's something definitely to check out.
How hard would it be for you to put annotations in this?
In this?
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be hard.
What I would
it depends on how long it is.
Well, what I would need you to do, I mean, I mean, the thing is, somebody said, well, can you link this to the to that specific article while they're watching, which I guess isn't a bad idea because people will then pause ours to go watch what we were talking about and then come back. So what we would have to think about is you would have to put the annotation there, but you'd have to you'd have to write me an email with what time it comes in so that I can then go put the annotation into YouTube.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's going to be the same link every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be the same link because we're just going to link you back to Photo News.
I mean, I don't see what's so hard about them just clicking in the description.
Yes. Let me just say, forget that thought because that creates a lot of extra work for us. Just click in the description. The link is right there.
I saw someone commented this week. They're like, you should put the link in the description. It's in the description.
It's the first thing in the description.
It's right there.
Come on, people.
It's really not hard to find. I don't know why everyone's always like commenting about that. Or just go to FroKnowsPhoto.com.
/podcast.
I had someone comment
What's
on
the
Photo
website?
News. Someone's like, you say photo weird. Because I do tend to say photo.
Oh, wait, hold on. Steven.
Because it's Philly.
Yes.
I tend to have that accent.
Let me take you back. Let me take you back to the beginning
before,
I'll take anybody back who hasn't heard this before. When FroKnowsPhoto started, you go back to look at my old videos. If you listen to me say, Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, PHODO. We say it photo around here.
Yeah.
We say water around here.
Yeah.
I say eggs and gas. Gas. You know,
what was it? Someone
legs.
else. What was the one thing they commented about that? Patent.
It's a patent.
Patent.
No, it's a patent.
That's what I'm saying. I say patent, and someone commented about
Whittle it out.
Yeah, with or without.
With or without. You want to wit, you want to wit out.
Exactly. But
W-I-D-T and W-I-D-T-O-U-T. Without.
We're not like speech therapists. We don't have like perfection when it comes to what we articulate.
Well, enunciate.
Enunciate.
Enunciate. But so I very early on caught myself doing FroKnowsPhoto. And I'm like, well, that's not right.
Yeah.
So I, over time, enunciate or pronounce the word FroKnowsPhoto.com. Today we're at the water park. Today we're at the water park with FroKnowsPhoto.com. But really, that's how we do it. It's water. Yeah. It's water ice. You go to other towns and you say, "Can I get a glass of water, please?" And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Water."
Do you mean water?
You mean water? So sometimes I'll sit there. I'll go, "Have a water, please." I gotta. It's like it takes more strength to say water.
I know, it's so much easier.
It's like water. It's water.
It rolls off the tongue better.
Water.
Water.
I'm gonna reset cameras while you go.
All right, cool. So next up we have sound. Obviously, is very important in video.
Wait, you better not start without me. All right, go ahead.
I can start.
I didn't hit it. See, look
Can
at
I?
it.
Oh.
Now it's blinking.
And now it's blinking. We're good. So sound's very important in video, so I figured I'd add this into the photo news segment because video is obviously photography as well. There's a behind-the-scenes video, I'll wait till you get in the seat, documenting how the sound for the new movie Gravity was done.
Gravity, stay the hell away from me. Gravity is always bring me down, 'cause half as much shade is half as bad. Oh my God, you ever seen John Mayer perform? Yeah. I shot him many times. And this is he's a microphone eater.
Is he?
He makes the face, he's like, Gravity.
He's like Haim, the girl from Haim.
That's Haim to you?
Haim?
Haim. Oh, by the way, Meg enjoyed her. She liked the CD. She saw. Cool. I forgot to give it to her and it was just sitting back there. She's like, oh, what's this? I was like, Steven thought about you because I told him that you would like
the band.
The Haim. Anyway, John Mayer's just like, I want to run through the halls of my high school.
It's got like that
I want to
smoky.
scream at the top of my lungs. I love this new album.
You've been blasting it every time I'm here.
Well, no, what was I blasting today? Gravity.
Him.
Gravity. Oh, that's a very like what's his name? Did it have a little help from my friend?
Beatles?
No, not the Beatles. Well, yes, the Beatles, yes, but the Crocker, the Joe Cocker, not Crocker, Joe Cocker at Woodstock.
Yeah.
You want to borrow my DVDs of Woodstock?
Sure, that'd be cool.
Do you know who was on that? Do you know who filmed? Was one of the film people?
I don't. I've seen it.
Martin Scorsese.
Yes.
And Chad Kroger. No, Kruger. It's Kruger, right?
He said Kruger, yeah.
He said Kruger.
I thought it was always Kroger, but apparently it's Kruger.
I knew it was Kruger because I listened to him on different shows, and for some reason, it's always, everybody says it the other way.
Everyone says Kroger.
Did you reset your camera?
Yeah, I did.
A phone thing?
Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, we're talking about Gravity, but Chad Kroger and...
Yeah, how did he come up?
Chad Kruger, because I was thinking of Avril Lavigne being pregnant. She
If
looked
she's
pregnant, allegedly. She looked pregnant.
She does. You were watching her on Stern.
We were watching her on Stern, just showing a clip, and he asked her, "Are you pregnant?"
It was so awkward.
And she's just like looking at
She
Chad.
looked at Chad and was like, no.
But if you look at her face, she's not the same Avril that I used to know.
The baby fat pregnancy
yeah,
thing going on.
she does. I mean, maybe she'll
sure.
grow up. She'll have a kid. It will come out singing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. They're both two married people.
How did he do that photograph song?
Look at this photograph. Every time
I do it makes me laugh.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't remember that song anymore.
I forget.
Wow.
I just remember that intro part.
So anyway, that's my Jared singing portion.
That's your Jared singing portion.
I just love Gravity. I love John Mayer. All right, back to the Gravity.
So yeah, this new movie Gravity, which you've seen, I believe, right?
I saw it in IMAX 3D, and
That's
it was
incredible.
$17.50 for a ticket.
It's
for
so expensive.
An adult, and
That's
my
actually
dad,
not bad for IMAX. IMAX is usually 20 or 25.
Screw that. My dad, who's a senior now, it was $16 for a ticket. I don't understand why old people pay less. Is it because why do old people pay less? Is that because they paid more along the way, or they paid into some kind of system?
I'm just thinking because they're not working. They're living off their like pension or whatever.
There are some working. A lot of them. My dad works.
Yeah.
It's just like, just 16. Why do you get a tip for being old?
I don't know.
I mean, whoop-de-doo, here's your double ARP
I bet
card.
you by the time when we're that age, it's gonna go
$49.99.
Yeah, they're not gonna have it anymore. They're not even gonna. They're gonna get rid of that whole system probably. You know,
you mean Medicare?
No, I mean like you're gonna get a senior discount. They're not gonna have that anymore. They barely have it nowadays. I'm sure 20 years ago it was everywhere.
I know that seniors ride the L free in Philly and public transit.
Interesting.
That's cool.
I do see a lot of old people on there.
I don't know why I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not okay with that. Old people should have to pay the same as young people.
I just think they need to retake their driver's license test because
yes,
they're like a hazard to the road for sure.
And so are some young people.
Yeah, I agree, but they're worse.
If you go to Florida, see, my grandfather is 92.
Yeah.
Okay. He just gave up his car voluntarily when his lease was up on his new vehicle. He's blind in one eye. It's been that way for like 10 years. And he's been driving that way. So I don't understand.
It's probably not very safe.
I don't understand how. Yes, I get it's very tough for a senior to have somebody else driving them around because you lose your freedom and stuff like that. But you're going to kill somebody on the road. Okay, back to photo news.
Back to photo news. But I agree. Interesting, though, to see how they decided to use sound in the film since the sound takes place in space. So there's, again, this whole behind-the-scenes video documenting how they did the sound for Gravity. And apparently it's more about the vibrations in the film since, again, it was taking place in space versus your normal, like, Foley that they do in every other movie.
The sound was really good.
It was, yeah, well, I didn't see it, but from the actual behind-the-scenes video, it seemed like it was.
I just say only go see it in IMAX 3D. Because we talked about this Tuesday. We talked about how the 3D... It's not just stuff popping out at your face.
It's more about depth.
Porn in 3D. Could you imagine that? I know there's 3D porn, but imagine that popping out at your face. It's you can hashtag. We haven't hashtagged in a while. Popping out at your face, porn in 3D. But they use depth so well because you're in space. So now you see her or whoever's in the scene, and then you see Earth like so far away because it's three-dimensional.
That's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
But they had apparently these headphones similar to the HS1 that Rode does. They had them in the actual helmets that they were wearing for when they were recording, and they used all the dialogue from that microphone. Because think about it, normally they have a boom or something recording the audio on set. They couldn't do that in this case, so they got it from that, and they did a fair amount of ADR as well in post. So music was also a big part of this film since space is virtually silent, obviously. They used a lot of panning also to make it feel like you're really in space in the movie, and it's just really cool to see how they did this because this isn't your typical film, your typical Foley that you do in a movie. So definitely check that out. It's on the website. And we have next up GoPro. They have some more competition now. Pyle Audio, Pyle,
Gomer.
or Pily, or whatever, Pyle.
I think it's Pyle.
Yeah, Pyle Audio. They're releasing a GoPro-like mini camera for under $100, or $99.99 to be specific. It's simply called the high-speed HD camera. Pretty crappy name, but it takes stills, 1080p video at 120 frames per second, 12-megapixel CMOS sensor, 2.5-inch LCD touchscreen, which is really nice, because for us, for example, the GoPro doesn't have that.
But we do have the Wi-Fi ability.
But they also have a Wi-Fi remote as well, and a waterproof case, and like I said, available for $99.99, and you'll like this, it comes in multiple colors, black, blue, gray, red, or silver.
Where's purple?
The purple's not in there, though. Maybe you can mix them up. And yeah, so the GoPro is pretty overpriced compared to this, I would say.
GoPro's $399 for the black edition.
4 times as much as this. Almost the same specs.
We'll see, a lot has to do with software. The GoPro does work very well, though we think the quality isn't very good. The GoPro quality isn't good compared to a DSLR. Yes, we get the difference. It's a little sports action camera, and it gets fantastic underwater stuff for people swimming with dolphins and attaching to your what's that thing called, surfboard.
Yeah,
that's what it's meant for.
Well, for the action stuff. Yeah,
that's great because there's no other way to get that footage. And even in TV shows today, you see it all the time. You see GoPros everywhere. They're being used.
Wrecking Ball, that video.
Wrecking Ball, it was used in.
I can't believe they didn't take that out.
Well, yeah. If anybody hasn't seen the Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball video, the naked one, the first time the wrecking ball hits the wall, you watch a GoPro and a Gorilla Pod, kind of similar to what you see sitting on the table if you're watching, hit the ground.
Bad editing on
It's
their
just
part.
like, how do you not edit around that or know that that's happening?
Yeah.
especially with the dailies or the live playback. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the GoPro is expensive. We'll see if this $100 option does anything. GoPro is so established that it's very hard to knock them off the perch. They have so much money that they spend on advertising. They are the go-to. They're the GoPro. So Contour doesn't really do anything, right? Nobody buys a Contour cam. I bought one because it's, you know, I was like, okay, this works. It's in a housing.
Similar to this? Or?
Yeah, at the time, they were less than that. But, okay, so I don't use that. We'll see what this thing does.
Yeah.
You know, it for $100, if it is as good, because you have to think about, everything rolls off of an assembly line in China, right? Just about. And in this day and age, you can have anything built. Like, look at tripods now. All the tripod, not all of them, but a lot of those Ben Rose and Me Photos, they're all the same tripods because they came out of the same factory. They all have, they just put a different name on it.
Yep.
So a lot of these things are all the same today. So if they have the same sensors and this, unless they have exclusive things, but everything gets ripped off in China. Totally ripped off. So we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, so let's see, next, I guess speaking of GoPros, kind of, at least with the camera angles, this past week marked the 1-year anniversary of Felix Baumgartner's Red Bull Stratos skydive from the edge of space.
Which I watched live on YouTube.
Incredible.
There was I don't know if it was 1 million, maybe it was like 6 or 7 million people watching live.
I was watching too.
Was it, do you remember the number?
I don't remember the number now.
800,000 or was it like 6 million?
It was definitely a lot. It's probably somewhere in between. But, yeah, so to mark the occasion, Red Bull released multicam footage of his entire jump from his point of view. I don't know what he had strapped on him, but it was similar to like a GoPro type view from like his legs to his helmet to whatever it may be. There was like 3 or 4 camera angles. And the cool thing is you can even see they put it all together in a video and they put the altitude, the altitude, the airspeed, the G-forces, everything he experienced while watching the video. You can check it out. It's like the top right corner. As he's going, it shows like in real time the altitude he's at, the speed he's at, whatever it is. Well, it's really cool.
They show multiple. They show multiple angles. You can watch the altimeter, the speed, and watch how he goes from 800 miles an hour down to like 100, and then when
within
the shoot,
like seconds.
And then when the shoot comes out, it's like 6 miles an hour
or 6 miles an hour. Yeah,
it's fascinating that they did that. So it's a cool thing to check out.
Yeah, definitely. And that is it for photo news.
Okay,
we kind of sped through that actually.
Well, we didn't really speed through it.
Yeah,
we still reset the cameras 3 times.
Did we really already?
Well, I redid them.
Are we like 50 minutes in already?
No. Do you want to go check the thing while I talk?
Nah, it's fine.
You sure? Just to see how far in we are?
All right, I'll check.
Because I'm going to kick you out soon anyway. But I just put on the RØDE HS1 headphones. They sent me this, not headphones, it's a microphone.
44 minutes.
Oh, wow, it is almost 50 minutes. So
44 minutes in.
So you know what? I'm going to start. I put on the headphones. So what I'm going to do here, sorry, they're microphones. I'm going to hit the record button. I am using Røde's the Pro app. I downloaded it. I paid $5.99. I'm going to hit record, and if anybody's watching at home, you can see everything's moving.
The actual levels on the screen.
So Steven is going to go ahead after this show and process the audio just like we would process a RAW file. Audio needs to be processed as well. You add compression to ours. I'm using both microphones right now. I'm using the HS1 and I'm using the broadcaster mics from RØDE, and Steven's going to, at this point, play the until I tell you. I'm
going to switch the audio source basically to the HS1, and what I'm going to do is have a little annotation when that is switched, so you'll know the difference.
And also add a beep.
I'll add a beep too.
Like when it's done or something.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you it's done, or when it starts, just put a beep and people will understand that, oh, that's when we switched over. So we really don't know the quality of this mic yet. We don't. I know you've done some tests on it. I did a test on it, and from what I heard plugging it into my speaker system, it sounded okay. So we don't know. The point is that they created this, I believe it's $249. You see these professionally used on sporting events, sporting desks.
You want to show them the box?
Oh, here. I'll give you this one.
Okay.
Did you mean that box or this box?
The other box. But this is the case that comes in for those listening to the podcast. We're just checking out the boxes.
Throw your water bottle away. Just throw it away. Thanks.
Throw it away. Is that better?
Yeah. It comes in a really good... Hold on. Oh, I can talk into this thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to lean in.
You don't have to lean in.
I'm going to do it anyway, just in case. It comes in a cool waterproof. It looks like a waterproof thing. It looks like
a giant GoPro.
Yeah, well, it's a huge box.
Yeah.
But it comes with a lot of accessories to replacement parts. But really, it's all about how this is going to sound. It's meant to be something that you can run and gun with. What was that flying?
It's like a little fly right there.
Get it. Give me something to hit it with. Next time that fly comes back, he's dead. Shoe fly, don't bother me. You know what movie that's from?
I forget.
Encino Man.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that one?
I don't think so.
Brendan Fraser plays and then you've got Brendan Fraser, and you've got Pauly Shore.
I might have. If I
Encino
have,
Man?
it's been a while.
I watched that thing as a kid so many times.
I've seen a ton of Pauly Shore movies, and they're all terrible.
Yeah. So Rode, the point they wanted to get across here is that these are used professionally. This is a professional microphone that you wear. It's kind of like anybody listening at home, if you don't see it, it's like one of those things telemarketers wear, but better. And I would use it in a situation where I needed to run and gun. So like when we're going up to Photo Plus, we could use this, or we could use the Smart Lav and plug into the phone. The point is that you can plug into the app on the iPhone, you can plug it in on an iPad or an Android device and have a full-on recording session. You get your information there, you can upload it to the computer, you can send it right to Dropbox or to SoundCloud. So you have the ability in your pocket with just the phone and this thing to go do anything you want speaking-wise.
Yep.
If I was speaking at an event and they weren't recording it and I was wearing, say, like a lav mic so that they could put me over the loudspeaker, but I wanted to record myself and they had no other way to do it, I could put this thing on and look like I'm doing something cool on the stage, right? And I could record right into my own phone.
Yep.
As a reminder, make sure you turn off airplane mode or turn on airplane mode because you don't want to get a phone call when you're recording because it will kick that out.
Yep.
Unless they change something in this app.
I think that for the Smart Lav, at least, that's what happened, right?
Yeah, that's what happened with the Smart Lav. Anyway, so we've been using this, and I think, all right, I get to get in the flying
show
solo.
them a little more of the angle.
Did you have to reset the cameras?
I'm going to do it in a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, because I don't think they can see it. Now they can see it.
So I can talk into this. So anybody that's watching here on YouTube, you can whoa. We have construction going on. You can see that the thing is right near my mouth.
That sounded terrible.
No, but I said it on purpose. The thing is right near my mouth, but it's right there. And I don't know, it feels comfortable even with all this hair. It loops in.
You can adjust it because I had it adjusted for my head earlier.
Oh, and you can actually get different pin mics, pin connectors.
Yeah, it's called a Micon connection system, and you can switch to an XLR adapter or the 8mm adapter, depending on what your source is.
Right, so that means you can plug into a wireless pack and then broadcast.
Yep.
That's why people use this when you see ESPN and you see the political news and they're out there. They use something like this.
You can use the H6 if we had the XLR adapter. Yeah. Now, the other thing is, too, just keep in mind, guys, these are end-address condenser microphones. They're going to sound a lot different.
The Rode,
yeah, my Rode, versus the headset microphone, because the headset is an omnidirectional, pretty much picking up almost everything all around it.
And it may not be as boomy, but
it's a lavalier mic, yeah, so it's not going to be as boomy as
But you're
these
going
kind of
to
microphones.
play with the audio because that is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we're going to
You're
add
not
some
supposed to
compression
just uncompress, and this is what
flat.
you do. Yeah. All right. So moving on, Steven.
And the other thing is, too, just to finish that up, the Rode app itself also has, at least the Pro app, has different type of compression settings inside it as well. So you can switch it depending on what you're doing, like a lecture or male speaking voice. There's all kinds of different stuff in there.
What about a female speaking voice?
There's a female
Steven?
one, too, I think.
So what I'm going to do...
Probably more of the high ends.
We're 5 minutes talking about it. I guess that's enough. I'm going to hit stop. You're going to hit a ding. Let me just make sure I hit the right button.
Cool.
Why is stop green? Can
I don't know.
anybody
It should be the
explain to
opposite.
me why stop is green in this phone? It's record. Yes, red is record. I get it. But why is green stop? Green means go.
Yeah.
Guys, my recommendation is make stop a red button again or something, and make record just like
Let's switch these cameras.
something. All right, so that's done. I'm taking this thing off my head so we can move on. MoveOn.org. So we'll just leave this thing on the screen. Good, Steven? Good. All right, so we're going to move into flying solo. Do you want to sit down so I can say goodbye to you real quick and remove that box? Sure. Please?
Hold on 1 second. Let me start this camera up. We'll move the giant GoPro box.
It's not a GoPro box. It's a Rode box.
I know, but it looks like a giant GoPro.
All right, Steven, thank you for your photo news.
You're welcome.
We're going to throw you off to the side. We're going to go ahead and do flying solo. And the flying solo portion is brought to you by squarespace.com/fro. If you're looking for a easy-to-use solution for building a web page, a photography portfolio like I did at jaredpolin.com. You can see what I did in 30 minutes, and I know people have been like, it looked like you spent 30 minutes. And I'll be like, well, I did spend 30 minutes, and I'm happy with it. And guess what matters the most? If I'm happy with it, well, it was easy to use, easy to set up. They give you a 14-day free trial. Steven's getting, I paid for a year for his service. Now he just needs to go set the damn
I got to
thing
set it up still.
Once he sets it up, I can get him his free year of service that I paid for, and he can start building his site and sharing his work. So if you want an easy place to make a portfolio, Use code FRO10 for October. Go to squarespace.com/fro. Sign up for the 14-day free trial. It's free for 14 days. And then when you go and check out, please be sure to use FRO10 because that helps us out, and that will give you 10% off your first order. So if you sign up for a year up front, you'll get 10% off that entire order. Goodbye. That's enough of that. So time for flying solo portion. You ready, Steven?
I am ready. Do you want anything on the clock? Because we're 51 minutes in right now, 52 minutes.
Give me 30 minutes.
Cool.
You know, as long as everything. Did you kill this one?
Not yet.
You want me to just reach over?
Yeah, that's good. Killing the microphone. All right.
God, I just killed the other camera, and reaching with my left arm so hurts my shoulder because I had dodgeball last night, and my arm...
Intense dodgeball.
It is intense. It's 4-on-4. You've got 4 guys and 4 girls on each team. You have 8 balls flying around. I pounded this girl last night.
Oh, my God. Everything you just said.
Hashtag, awesome. I pounded this girl last night right in the face. I guess it doesn't get any better when you add it right in the face. But it's true. I have a Canon for an arm. Yes, it's not even a Nikon. It's a Canon for an arm because I've always thrown hard. I was a pitcher, and
oh, you pitch, right?
Yeah, I pitch and somebody catches, but I have a Canon. I should put Nikon on my arm. I should do that one week. I wear a tank top to go play, and I enjoy it. You don't want to hit girls in the face often, but this girl bent over, and instead of hitting her in the chest, she was a hipster. She was a hipster. She had glasses on, not even rec specs. You should be wearing rec specs if you want to wear glasses.
Were they just frames?
They were just frames. Well, half the team had frames because it was the hipster team.
Nice.
So, you know, somebody threw a ball at her, and then I just picked her off. I threw it really hard, and it hit her smack in the glasses.
Take this, hipster.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to hurt somebody. She did bend over, so I threw it at her chesticle, right? So her chesticles. That's where I threw it. But you know what's funny? When the first game I played against her this week, I threw a ball so hard, right at like her stomach level, and she caught it. And
nice.
I didn't get upset. I didn't get upset because I'm like, if you're gonna catch that rocket and be able to do it, then I'm gonna congratulate you on it.
That's awesome.
But then there was a guy who was like 5 feet away from me without a ball, and I was like, that's it, you're done. And I was on fire last night. Oh, I was on fire. We lost 9 games. We lost all 9 games.
I was on fire, but we lost terribly.
We lost all 9 games. It's a team losing effort. It's really. Justin Connors. Photography also involves post-processing, and I didn't wear my glasses for this.
Uh-oh. Do you want me to get them?
No, don't get them. And because I got plenty of light coming in from outside. Post-processing. As a new photographer, I had a hell of a time finding legit and easy to understand bloggers showing off how they do their workflow and or edit their pics. I know a lot of it is closely held and it is trial and error, but I would love to listen to a discussion on post-processing and editing. Well, you can't listen to a discussion on post-processing and editing. You have to see it in action. And it is trial and error. You need to find your own style. There are plenty of sites out there, I'm not even going to talk about which ones are out there, that offer a ton of Photoshop or Lightroom editing helps. I know I'll say Gavin, I almost said Gavin DeGraw. Gavin Howe, it's Gavin Howe. I like Gavin. He does a lot of actions in Lightroom. So he does more of the over-the-top type of things, but you can watch all the raw edits that I've done. There's like 89 of them. Actually, there's more of that because not all of them are numbered. And you can watch how I processed or watch how Adam processed, and you can see how we do it. But I don't care if somebody knows how I edit. A lot of people don't like my editing to begin with. So you have to go trial and error, and it would help to click open the pen so that I could actually draw right on my paper instead of scratching it. But yeah, it's trial and error. I don't really have a discussion other than seeing the videos we've put up in the past.
Yeah, and you definitely need to find your own voice in that, your own like style, because you can take a little like of what you talk about and then just make it your own. You know, everyone's style is different.
The eyelash is now in my apple juice.
Nice.
Sean Morgan discussed Nikon's blatant quote unquote hide it under the carpet treatment of the D600 with the D610 arrival. Yeah, it's frustrating as hell. It's frustrating as hell. And I got an email from a newlywed. Congratulations on being married. I don't have it in front of me that I was going to read. They bought a D600 and it had to go back for repair. And then they took it on the honeymoon. And when they landed, it didn't work. So then they had it, and they were in Hawaii, so they rented a D7100 because they couldn't rent anything full frame, so they spent a couple $100. Now, I don't know what the problem was. They said the screen, everything was coming out black, which means the mirror maybe was stuck up or something along those lines. So I really don't know. Actually, that wouldn't, the images wouldn't come out all black if the mirror was stuck up. They'd come out all black. Well, who knows? I don't know. But anyway, that's not the only issue. I know that somebody that I know sent their D600 back 4 times, and this is a reputable person, sent back 4 times. Sure, there's people out there who blew out of proportion the certain issues that they've had, but other people did have legitimate issues. I know that the D7000 sucks for autofocus. I know for a fact that it clearly back focuses and misses a ton because I own that camera and I don't like it because of that. The D800, there's people that I know that were on professional shoots that rented early D800s that came out. Maybe they fixed it in production a little later, but they were getting back focus, 15 feet back focusing of subjects that weren't moving. So
yeah, that's really bad.
That's bad. That's a reason I don't like the D800, all right? So people that keep asking, why don't you like the D800? Well, that's one of them, is that focusing stuff. So I had issues with my D4, never had issues with my D3S. So this D600 stuff, I've heard some issues with the D7100 too. Not sure if they're legit yet, but they need to get on the ball. They need to start, I mean, Canon had this issue a couple years back with the the Mark III, right? Where they had focusing issues, and then they fixed it, but they've gotten it right with the 5D Mark III. They've gotten it right with the 1DX. They just keep killing it right now. And like I said, Adam switched over to the 5D Mark III. I would have no problem shooting a 5D Mark III. Personally, I wouldn't get it. I would get a 1DX. That's what I want to shoot, is that big-ass camera. But there's pros and cons on both sides. I am not going to sit here and tell you that I would not switch over to Canon. I would. I want to use whatever tool is the best tool in the bag, and people have to get over the fact. How are my levels?
They're fine.
Why am I getting a text in airplane mode? Because I guess I put Wi-Fi on, and it's an iMessage?
I don't know.
Bill Rogers. I shot his wedding. Stop interrupting. He's a Nikon shooter. Maybe he's asking. I'm not going to. Well, he's probably asking, should he buy the D6100? Or, yeah, the D610. People have to get over this undying support for one brand or the other. Yes, I love my Apple products, right? I think it's a different thing. You've got your Nikon, you've got your Canon, you've got your Sonys, you got other companies out there. It's great to be all in on what you have, but I'm not going to get a tattoo of Nikon. You know, if Nikon starts producing a crappy product, I'm going to switch to something that doesn't produce a crappy product, right? So I am not beholden to one thing or the other. Yes, I'm heavily invested in all my Nikon gear. I've used the Canon stuff now, and I really, really like it. So it doesn't matter what you have. Get over it, all right? Next. Nicholas Dorsey. How do you get a portrait session if people aren't coming to you? You always say to reach out, but how? Okay, so again, you can't expect people just to come to you. I built my jaredpolin.com with what I thought were some amazing photos 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and nobody was coming to me. But why would anybody come to me if they didn't know who I was? So then I was like, okay, let's do this FroKnowsPhoto thing, and then people will then see who I am and see my work and hire me. Well, that didn't work because they didn't end up hiring me to shoot photos, but it turned into something else. But you have to put yourself out there, and I cannot tell you how to get more jobs. We did a whole marketing show. We did 2 marketing shows a little while ago, so go down the podcast list and go watch those or go listen to those to talk about marketing. But there are no secrets. You have to find a way for yourself to become successful. That is it. I mean, that's not yelling. That's tough love, right, Steven?
Yep.
Maxim Jedro. I'd like to hear more about how you manage your personal photography career. How do you get to get more clients when you didn't have a portfolio yet? Like when you started doing weddings and didn't have any related work to show to potential clients. Well, if you don't have any work to show potential clients, you're not going to get a job, first and foremost. Second, you don't need to shoot a real wedding to have wedding photos. Go get your friends to dress up and do a portrait session with them. create it as if you actually shot weddings. So you can't say, oh, I've never shot this, nobody will give me a job. You have to go make different portfolios. If you want to go out and start shooting food for a job, well, then you better start going and shooting food on your own to build up your portfolio and quality of work that you do. It holds true with everything. If I show up to a wedding client and I show them pictures of Marilyn Manson, are they going to hire me? Maybe. But you never know. It depends if it's a goth wedding. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. But you got to you have to shoot and make your own portfolio. That's one of the things about college. You come out of college with a well-rounded portfolio because you've shot a little bit of everything. Tim Anglebreeder Smallman. You saw Ken Rockwell in the street wearing an I Shoot JPEG small shirt. What kind of thing would you throw at him? I don't know. I don't think I'd throw anything. I'd try to get him on the freaking show. I'd be like, Ken, are you free right now, or are you too busy playing with your kids? You know, can you come on my show, please? I'd be like, good, go keep shooting JPEG smalls and telling people. I'd be over there, I'd be like, what's up? I shoot RAW. And he'd be like, I shoot JPEG small. And I'll be like, so? And I'd be like, whatever. And I'd be like, Laith Shanshal. What do you think of small cameras with APS-C sensors and full manual controls like the Nikon Coolpix A or Fujifilm X100S, which people like Zach Arias are saying is marking the end of DSLR especially that it shoots RAW? I don't think it's marking the end of anything. It's a beginning of a new form of camera to take around. I know that Zach does photo shoots with his X100S and his X Pro 1 and does them well. But that's his choice. You can use any tool that you want to use that you are comfortable with to capture images. I would like to see Fuji come out with, maybe they'll come out with an X100S FF. X100X SFF. Maybe they should come out with the X100 ASS.
They might want to rename it.
The X100 ASS.
ASS.
For all saturated standard. Anyway, if they came out with a full frame camera, that would be cool. But I also know you can run into issues using just an X100S. You are limited with your focal range. It's a 35 millimeter lens on that camera. So it's whatever tool you need for the shoot, for the job. But I don't think it marks the end of needing a DSLR. Don't forget that Zach also owns a phase back, right? He owns a medium format, probably a $40,000 camera, right? You know, Steven?
That's crazy.
So, you know, no, it's not the death of DSLRs. It's the death of Micro Four Thirds. Yeah. Dominic Hook, is there anything you would have done differently as a photographer if you had your time over, if you got to do it over? I've talked about this in the past. I would have assisted more. If I wasn't such a hard-headed person to think that I could make it all on my own, I would have tried to find an assistant and become their right-hand man and work with them. Joe HDZ Hidz. Okay. Would you go out with Shira or Evil Lyn? For those of you who don't know who Shira or Evil Lyn are, they're He-Man from He-Man. Shira had, yes, Steven, I made sure to show Steven the pictures of Shira and Evil Lyn. So you got to see them both, right?
I did.
He did. But Shira, I didn't realize, I knew that Shira had a spin-off show to He-Man, and it was called Shira and Friends, probably. And the theme song was like this: Shira, 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 Shira. And then He-Man, for anybody who doesn't know He-Man, the theme song is, hi, I'm Adam, and I'm the defender of Castle Grayskull, and I'm here with my pals. Here is my Thundercat. But he's not really Thundercat because he's really a coward. And then it's like, then one day I took out my sword and was like, I've got the power of Grayskull. And then he turns into this muscle-bound behemoth that was
Arnold Schwarzenegger-like guy.
Yeah, basically, that made me feel like I was inadequate as a child. It gave me false sense of what I need to look like. He must have been on steroids. So He-Man. So who would I go out with, Shira or Evil Lyn? So Evil Lyn wears purple, which I like, but I think she was too masculine looking. And then I saw a picture of Shira, and I was like, oh,
smoking hot.
My God, look, those blonde
For an animated
locks.
chick.
Did you see her waist? I could get my hands around it, and it's like, ooh, that girl's hot. She's smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'd take Shira. Steven, you
heard that? Shira, all the way.
Karen Young, any thoughts on Nikon repair charges? People say, in parentheses, yeah, I know. that Nikon is calling everything an impact issue, not honoring warranties and charging a lot. Is it just Nikon? It has me a little hesitant on some of the finer glass. I have not run into this issue myself. I have run into the opposite. They haven't said impact damage on any of my gear that has gone back. I send them back the 300 2.8. They charge me something like $400. It's a flat repair fee for that lens. So it cost me $400 to repair it. If I have to send back my camera, it could be $200 if it's out of warranty. Nikon has 5-year warranties on their lenses. They're not, if it's impact, many times where they say it's impact damage, it's because it's impact damage. A lot of people drop their shit. They drop it and it breaks. But if it doesn't, you just send them a letter or you call them on the phone and you go, I didn't drop this. There is no impact damage. I am telling you that, and you can work your way up the ladder and see what happens. Their pricing is their pricing. If you want to replace something, it's going to be expensive. They're digital products. That's why sometimes it's not worth it. But on big glass and pro bodies, they'll fix it and they'll honor their warranties. At least I've run into that situation. James Gosling. Ooh, Ryan Gosling. When would you identify as the correct time to graduate from crop sensor to full frame? When you're getting regular paid jobs? Earlier? Later? Thanks. James, it's different for everybody. If you are getting paid jobs, and this is the determining factor in my mind. If you feel that the DX or crop sensor is holding you back, how are we doing on time on the camera, Steven?
I'm switching them now, actually.
The one? Do you think it's done?
No, we got 3 minutes.
Oh. If you feel that you've reached the end of the capability of the camera that is in your hands, then that is the time to switch. If you're making money and you're doing a great job with what you've got, then there's nothing wrong with continuing on with that crop sensor or that DX sensor. It comes down to if it is limiting you in what you are trying to capture. That is what you need to do. All right, next question. Bill Boner. Hey, it's Bill Boner again. I want to see a shoot-off between Fro and Steven. Let's see your best. That's what it says. So what you're going to get to see is when Steven and I edit our Made in America photos are edited. We still need to make a video where we put up my best 10, his best 10, and you're going to see that we have very similar styles in shooting concerts.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of times where I show him a picture and he goes, oh, here's mine. And it's the same freaking cropping. It's the same filled the frame. But hey, that's probably one of the reasons Steven's sitting here today is because I was drawn to the fact that he shot very similar to me with Canon.
I try.
Sam Powers, the new flash guide is out. How about that flash photography? You mentioned on a previous RAWtalk episode that you and Adam took a brightly lit window and blew it white to act as a white background for a portrait shoot. I've always wanted to hear more details about that photo shoot. Okay, you want to hear, and I don't want to be that guy. Actually, I'm going to be that guy. But the point of us talking about doing that in the flash guide is so that you go out and buy the flash guide to see how we did it. I mean, that is the honest to God. We're not just going to give it away. That's the point.
That was like the coolest thing that I saw on the flash guide, and yeah, it was just really interesting how you guys did it and how it was totally on the fly. Like, did you guys even plan that out in the beginning, or that's just something like, oh, we're gonna do it?
No, much to the chagrin and displeasure of the director Todd. This was something that just happened when we were at Steam.
I'm sure he loved shooting that because it was directly in front of the window.
Well, we brought in some extra lights because we needed to do some things.
Yeah.
For video purposes. But Sam, I'm not yelling at you, but yes, you want to see how we did it? You're gonna have to pick up the video. Sean Taylor. And that's at FroKnowsPhoto.com/flashguide. Sean Taylor, I know you haven't finished this, 70D review yet, but could you compare the 70D to the 5D Mark II and Mark III? Plus and minuses for both? No.
Compare it to the 5D Mark II?
I am not going to do that. Yeah, what I will tell you right now is that a 70D... Hold on, Steven. What?
So it's not even a good comparison.
You didn't say to interrupt me first.
Sorry.
You can say to interrupt me first.
To interrupt you, it's not a good comparison.
It's not a good comparison. The 5D Mark II, gone. It may be better than the 5D Mark II at this point, but you can't compare the 70D to the 5D Mark III. One's $1,200?
Something like that.
I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek at my review of the 70D. The review is that it's not a still camera. It's meant for video. The stills are going to be fine. I didn't have great results shooting a concert with it, and that is what I use it in a real. If it doesn't hold up well shooting in a concert situation, then to me it's not gonna. It may shoot fine outdoors in bright daylight. It may do fine, but if it doesn't hold up for that type of shooting, the most extreme shooting, then I don't think it works well. But I will tell you that the video was fantastic that came out of it. I think the video is great, and I shot the same concert where I didn't have great job with the stills because a lot of misfocus because I don't know that the focusing system could keep up with the low light or the changing light or really anything. And I was using the 16 to 35 and the 70 to 200. So yes, I'm being harsh. I'm not going to say not to be harsh. I was being harsh, but the video that came out of it, really nice video. And that
has the tiltable screen too.
It has a very applicable touch screen, which means that I could touch where I wanted to focus. The focus tracking did a fantastic job. That is new. We didn't talk about it with the D5300, but that has a newer, more improved focus tracking. I doubt it's as good as this D70D. But I will say this. I love shooting the D7100 when I shot the concerts you and I did together. It did, I think, a far superior job in stills than this 70D. So I'll just say that. It comes down to what you people want to do. But you can't, we can't compare. I'm not a big fan of comparing new cameras to old cameras and then $1,200 cameras to $3,500 cameras.
Well, yeah, and a crop sensor versus full frame.
Right, it's just not comparable.
Yeah.
Stephen Miller. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on. Stephen Miller.
Oh. I was like, who are you talking about?
Stephen. Do you know who Stephen Miller is?
The singer?
The band.
The band,
Steve Miller Band. What do they do? Oh, they've got that song.
I forget the songs.
They have Spinning Away. I think Spinning Away that was redone for the Beach soundtrack, done by Sugar Ray. Love it. I love Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray has a greatest hits album. Did you know that?
Sugar Ray, one of his first albums was one of my first albums I ever picked up. I was like 11 or 12. I forget what album it was, but
1459.
It was pretty terrible.
Was it 1459?
It might have been 1459.
Yeah,
the one with all the big hits.
Well, no, the first one had
The Fly.
Yeah. How'd it go again? I just want to. No.
Yeah, wasn't that it?
No.
Just want to fly. Like
No.
a bird in the sky.
No. You sound like Chad Kroger.
Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around. Isn't that one?
Oh yeah.
I just want to fly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Wait, you don't like my singing?
No, not really. You sound like Chad Kroger.
Yeah.
Kruger.
I love it.
Kruger. Stephen Miller has a long question. I'm going to read it because I thought it was good, and we have a couple more. Hi, Jared. I just shot my first boudoir shoot, and I'm having some difficulty. The gal recently lost 100 pounds. 100-plus pounds. Forgot the plus. The editing itself is not a problem, and believe it or not, she actually quite damn amazing. Okay, I guess they mean it came out quite amazing. Sorry, I didn't proofread it. You would never know about her past. Now she is very picky on her images. I've had multiple other photographers agree with me on how amazing they turned out, and yet she drops comments when I let her preview. At least she's not dropping her panties. When I let her preview them, like my head looks big, or I look constipated. Seriously? How can I reassure her that it is a quality picture and she is posed correctly and looks fantastic? She seems to have a lingering twisted image of herself, and I'm assuming that's coming from her self-image of when she was overweight. It makes the end result very difficult to deliver and feel satisfied about. Thanks so much. You're amazing and keep up the fantastic work.
That's a tough one.
So you're not a psychologist, all right? You can't sit here and tell the person anything other than they look fantastic if they have a not a positive view on how they look. This I look constipated thing is like, get over it. Like I've had people, and I'm pretty damn blunt when it comes to people talking about, oh, I look fat, I look this, I look this. You know what? Shut up. Seriously, shut up. You're like 12 pounds. You look fine. I think the photo looks great. Stop your bitching and whining, and people are going to love the photo, but you can't. People have self-image issues.
They're all their own worst critic. Everyone is their own worst critic.
So, I don't like this. This is my bad side. Well, it's your bad side because you made it your bad side.
Yep.
Get over it. Seriously, get over this crap. Now, I can't tell you about this girl who dropped 100-plus pounds. First off, that's amazing. You drop 100-plus pounds, you take the initiative, you make it happen. By the way, there's no secrets and shortcuts to working out and losing weight. You want to lose weight, you got to bust your ass.
Yep.
There's no secret to that. And I say that all the time because people are like,
well, there's liposuction. That's about it. That's the one secret.
It's not liposuction. You can't liposuction 200 pounds, but you can get surgery.
You know what I mean.
I know what you meant. You meant surgery.
Yeah.
You can get the gastric bypass.
That's it, yeah.
But then people still have burst through the gastric bypass. But anyway, there's nothing you can say to her other than, you look great. I think these photos are fantastic. Show them to your friends. They'll love it. Your head's too big. You used to be fat. I don't think one thing has...
I wonder if she has like stretch marks or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure he cleaned that up.
Body dysmorphia is what they call it.
Is that what they call it?
No, body dysmorphia is what people that are super thin that see themselves as being fat.
Oh.
Or people that are fat that see themselves as, no, they never see themselves as being thin, I don't think.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised she doesn't think she looks great because she lost that much weight.
You just dropped 100+ pounds. You look great.
She looked way better than before, yeah.
You just be like, look, you got to get over it. And then I
tell her, hey, look, you look better than before, so deal with it.
I kind of I can kind of come off insensitive at times because I get pretty blunt and just deal with it, you know? Just
see, I hate when clients or whoever it may be like say that about like my photographs of them, because then it makes me question myself, like, oh, did I do a bad job posing them, or did I do a bad job like processing in post or whatever it may be. But yet really it's just the person being so self-conscious about themselves and how they look. You really can't do much about it.
And that's why you can't go to town in Photoshop and do something to make somebody, exactly. This is what I say. I'm like, this is who you are. You're not anything else. This is what you... It's like when people say, well, can you take out all of my blemishes and scars? I'm like, no. This is who you are. Yep. If you want to be somebody else, that's not for me to do. I captured the moment of the situation that you were in. If this is what you look like, that is what you look like. And that is it.
And then again, like, people say the camera doesn't lie, but then again, it kind of does lie when you use certain types of lenses. It depends
posing.
Or posing, correct. Like, if you're doing a wide-angle lens close up and they're on the edge of the frame, they're going to look distorted. It could be the photographer's fault, but in this case, it doesn't sound like it at all.
Nope.
It's just, yeah, clearly she's not comfortable with herself.
Yep, and that's where we'll leave that one. Michael Heddy. Let's talk bags. We spend large dollars for gear, and everyone knows it. Are the bags really required to be $200 to $300? Is there a great bag that will hold a body with 3 lenses without breaking the bank? The answer is no. Excuse me. The answer is no. It's difficult, but if you buy one quality bag, I've got, what do I have? I use the Think Tank Retrospective 30. It's a $200-ish bag. I will have that bag for 20 years. The bag isn't going to break. It is built so well that it's going to last. So amortize that over a 20-year period. It's costing you nothing. Seriously, you got to invest somewhere. And then they have bags that are $380. The rolling bags, the $320, $330 for the airport securities. You buy it once, you bite the bullet. You're going to have it for 10, 15 years. No doubt about it.
Totally worth it.
Mike Jansen. Hi, guys. How about talking about how you use jaredpolin.com? Do you show it to clients? Does it attract clients? Honestly, I'm going to be honest here because I'm always honest. Since switching over to Squarespace, I've had more contact requests from people submitting questions. Well, I don't want... First off, do not go to jaredpolin.com and send me questions for FroKnowsPhoto.com. jaredpolin.com is my professional business photography site. That is where I am looking for jobs, or that's where I want people to contact me if they are inquiring about a service that I offer, not to ask me what camera should you buy. And that's not me being harsh. That's just you have 8 million other ways to get in touch with me, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, leaving comments on YouTube, which are the least ones that I get back. I don't ever get to checking the mailbox in YouTube. For anybody out there who sends messages to YouTube, there's just way too many places for me to get information. You can send questions to the Fro. You can put questions on Facebook. You can tweet me, and I respond to, like, Twitter is probably one of the easiest places to get in touch with me. If you put an intelligent comment down there, I will get back to you. I mean, that's just...
It still blows my mind how much you get back to all these people. Everyone that asks you a question, you literally get back to every single person.
Not everyone.
Most of the people,
But I will be honest, there's over 2,000 emails in the Fro message... contact the Fro box. It's very hard to get in there because I want to take... People go, well, why don't you get somebody to answer those emails? I can't have somebody answer emails for me. They're like, you need to outsource. You're taking up too much of your own time. Well, nobody can answer a question for me like me. We don't want to have issues where somebody says something and then you're called out in the industry because somebody copied somebody else's work or words and then they come after you. The way to stay away from that is you do your own work. So So I try to get to as many of those as possible because I want to answer them. If people, a lot of them are gear questions. I do answer them. I'm not happy always answering what lens should I buy, what camera, but I give my honest feedback. And I'll be honest, the quicker, stop saying I'll be honest. If this was a drinking game, you guys would be drunk. If you're going to send me questions, please keep them to like 2 sentences or less. Less than a paragraph. These long ones, I do read some of them because some of them are very personal and need to be written long, but some of them just need to be quick and to the point and let me get an answer back to you. The quicker the question, the quicker I can give you an answer, honestly. So I use jaredpolin.com as a place to send people when I want to shoot concerts or when I want to show people what I do. I'm going to make an EPK. That's a video about my photography. I'm going to have Todd, when he's done filming his latest movie, film me, asking me questions, popping up my work on the screen, playing some music, talking about the work that I create, because I want people to feel the passion that I feel for capturing images. And I think the way that they're going to feel that beyond looking at my images is to hear me talk about the images. Because when you hear somebody talk passionately about what they believe in, you kind of go, wow, they really believe in this and they do. I want this person to do the job for me. Like, I want them to come on tour with me because I know that they've been on tour before and they're not going to be out of place. They can do it. They can just roll up and fit right in with the rest of the crew. That's the stuff I want to convey to people through my website. So I use it for personal use. I send it to people as a, hey, I just shot Gavin DeGraw. I just photographed Modest Yahoo. These are the behind-the-scenes images. I'd love to do this for you too. So that is what I do, and I do use Squarespace, and I like the functions that it gives me. So again, guys, if you sign up for Squarespace, please go to FroKnowsPhoto.com/fro, or on the website, there's a Squarespace banner you can click, and that takes you over there. And when you sign up and you use code FRO10, they'll give you 10% off your first purchase. So if you purchase 1 month, you'll get 10% off. If you purchase a whole year, you'll get 10% off that as well. So that helps me out, by the way. They actually aren't an advertiser. It's done off of a different way. But hey, thank you guys for doing that. If you want to go over there, you get a 14-day trial to try it for free. And we are just about done. So don't forget, guys, it was Funky Bunt Loving. But Funky Butt Loving.
Funky Bunt?
No, not Bunt. At FroKnowsPhoto on Twitter. Make sure you say Funky Butt Loving only if you listen to this on that Monday that it comes out. You only have a small period of a small window to be entered to win that FroKnowsPhoto Flash Guide. It's only for people that are subscribers right now. So anybody listening that wasn't a subscriber, I'm going to do more contests like this. And one of the only ways we're going to do it, if you're a subscriber and you hear it early, that's how you're going to go ahead and take advantage of that contest. Thanks to allenscamera.com. Steven, thank you for all your news.
You're welcome.
Don't forget that the Black Rapid FroKnowsPhoto I Shoot Raw strap is back in stiggity stock. It is in the FroKnowsPhoto store. Go to store.froknowsphoto.com. The pre-sale is officially over, so the price is back to where it went up. And all of those goodies aren't there, but there's still people wanted this strap, man. They really, 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 really wanted it. So we're going to call that the end of RAWtalk episode number 57, take 2. It's another, how long did it go, Steven?
About an hour and a half.
People like these. They love listening to it in the car or at work or at home. And we like making them when we do them well.
Yeah. And
this was good. This was much better than what we did on Tuesday.
It was
Steven.
Much better.
But hey, we were prepared. That's how it happens. Thank you to Rode. You guys heard that audio that we did earlier. Really appreciate them supporting us. We love the quality of the gear that they have, and that's one of the only reasons we allow them to be a sponsor. That's one of the major important things that I take into consideration if somebody's... You know that we don't have a lot of sponsors. We've got Allen's, we've got Rode, and...
Squarespace.
And Squarespace isn't a paying... They don't pay me. They don't pay me. The way that Squarespace works with this sign-up thing, if you guys sign up and you stay a client, I get something for it. So I use it myself. I went to them with this offer, by the way. They didn't come to me and say, we want you to promote our product. I said, I want to use your product. Can we work something out? Because I think this is what people should use. All right, enough plugs. Whatever. That's the point. Being that they don't pay me, Steven, I can say as much or as little as I want.
Yep.
Because I don't want to be... What people need to understand, when you get into How much time's left on my clock, on the camera?
About 2 minutes.
All right, because we're going to wrap it up right now. But what people need to remember is when you're in a business or you're dealing with advertisers or sponsors, that when they ask you, when they pretty much try to tell you what you're going to do for them. And I do not want to be beholden to a sponsor. I don't want to have to sit there and stop 5 times. Because I've had people that are like, well, we need you to talk for 2 minutes about our product at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And I'm like, no. I'm like, if you're going to be a sponsor for me, 1, I have to like your product, and 2, you're going to let me do whatever I want to do. Because I'm going to do a better job than what you think you can tell me to do. Just give me the information that I need to convey, and I'll convey it in my own organic way. So, organic, man, that's where it's at. Organic chicken, organic milk, organic beef. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.